Okay, Mayor, you're good to go. You're recording.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Russell. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for welcoming us into your home tonight. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Publics Meeting Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice that this meeting has been posted on Town Hall's front door. Next public meeting of this council will be on May 6th. Welcome to the Aberdeen Township Council for Thursday, April 15th. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cannon. Councilman Hirsch.
Here.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Here.
Councilwoman Montone.
Here.
Councilman Swindell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Here.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yes, thank you very, very much. And Brian, will you kindly walk us through our agenda this evening?
Sure, Mayor. So first off, we have to thank Angela and our bond attorneys to getting everything done. But our bond ordinances for the capital improvements. So we have our general capital ordinance, water, and our sewer bond ordinances will be introduced tonight for first reading. Item number 2 is the shared it's almost an amendment, but it's just an addition for the shared service agreement with the Borough of Matawan for court. It's the same agreement that was on months ago with one addition. When we approved everything back in, I believe I guess it was
November.
November, thank you, November. And the state approved everything. We moved forward, we went through, and then back in February, March, the state came back and said, hey, we forgot to have you guys add something to get done, which is all the non-disposed cases from pre-2021 backwards that Matawan had, that at the time the Joint Court of Hazlitt was handling. Now that they separated and branched off, all the cases that were part of Matawan has to go with Matawan. So those cases are now moving up with us or to the shared court. And of course, we had to put that into our agreement. So here we are approving to add on the pre-2021 non-disposed cases. Some of these cases still may never be heard. There's cases from right here back to 1995 still and more. But we have to put this into our agreement. And if they are worked on, or if there's anything that goes forward, we do have a not to exceed amount of $15,000, and that'll be charged on a case-by-case basis if a case is heard. Again, cases may not be heard at all because the same thing, they were sitting over at the joint court. But the state superior court has asked that we put this into our agreement, and that's what you have all before you. Again, not going to change any operational standards or anything like that. It's if a case does come up or they finally get a defendant, then that'll be heard in court under the Matawan court. And of course, our staff will handle it all and then charge Matawan the appropriate cost. So that'll be
Mr. Russell.
Go ahead.
Based on my own experience with municipal courts all over the state over the years, with cases that go back 10, 15, 20 years, but are still open, I would say that it would be extraordinary if 25% of them got heard.
Yes, and they kind of said the same thing when they met with all of us. So
10 I was going to say 10% is likely, but I'll be generous and say definitely not more than 25.
So if we have it, if we do hear a case, it's all set now in the agreement. If not, they'll just be sitting until they get either the courts close them out or they find somebody. Let's see here. Number 3 is awarding of a contract for the non-lead gasoline to Aberdeen Fuel, which is on Route 34. Our contract was up. It was a 1-year contract with a option for another year. Again, that was bid out the same way again, and it did come again. Aberdeen Fuel bid and was actually the only bidder. Again, this bid is for the township and for the school district as well. For the township, it's for unleaded or regular gasoline, excuse me. And then for the school district, it's gasoline and diesel. So that's done through our purchasing office. Number 4 is canceling obligations of no longer necessary. Those are from old ordinances. If we have any questions on that, our CFO is on with us this evening. If you have any questions, but she has been cleaning up a lot of the past and old ordinances and closing them out. Number 5 is a participation in the NASPO, which is the National Association of State Procurement Officials Value Point Cooperative. Again, this is another cooperative that we'll be able to utilize for contracts and cooperatives for vendors and contracts nationwide. It is approved through the state of New Jersey. So of course we are able to use it if it's passed through resolution. And again, it just broadens our availability to use other vendors to try to get the best price and quality for the township. Item number 6 is the submission of grant application for the 2021 body worn cameras. Again, this is something that is going to be mandated through the state of New Jersey, that all police departments will have to have body worn cameras for their officers effective June 1st. So the chief will be is utilizing this and working on getting the grants to finalize for us for the costs, because of course they're mandating it, but not really helping with the full costs, but they are having some grants out there that we are applying for. If there's any other questions for that, I do have the chief available for any more informative questions. And then item number 7 is a release performance guarantees bonds for the Cornell developers for 10 Willow Avenue, 9 Anna Avenue, and 155 Willow Avenue. And then, of course, we will have an executive session tonight as well. And Mayor, that's all I have. And I really don't have any other major report for the regular meeting, except for possibly Chief may have an update on COVID or anything like that. But that's all I have for you right now.
Thank you very much. Any members of council have questions for Brian before we take a motion to move into the regular meeting? And that, of course, would include our council too.
Councilman Hirsch has a question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Russell, just for clarification on the fuel co-op or bid through Aberdeen Fuel, you mentioned during your explanation that the contract is to cover the non-leaded gasoline for the township and the non-leaded gasoline and diesel fuel for the school system. Does that mean that, well, first question is, does that include the police department vehicles? And the second part of that question, what happens to the diesel? Is the diesel fuel that the township uses in our DPW department, is that under a separate contract?
Yes, the police department uses this gas. This is for all township vehicles. I'd have to get you an answer on the other diesel contract that I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to ask Jackie to confirm that for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions for Mr. Russell at this point? I'm not seeing any. Brian, are you seeing?
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? We can get that answer. Our supervisor, Gary Grimaldi's on, and he can, I bet you, answer that question. He's got his hand raised. So if you don't mind, Gary?
Yeah, that contract's through Allied Fuel.
Thank you, Gary.
Allied Fuel. Thank you, Gary. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Very much. Thank you. Any other questions or comments right now at this point? Brian, are we kind of clear?
Yeah, I'm checking too. I got a big screen today. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think we're good on council members, Mayor.
All right, then I'm going to ask the deputy mayor to make a motion to leave workshop to go into the regular meeting.
Mr. Mayor, my fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to leave workshop this evening and move into our regular session on 4/15/20.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Terrific. Okay, this meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice was given to the newspaper. Notice of this meeting has been posted on the front door of the town hall. The next open public meeting of this council will be May 6th, 2021. Welcome to the Aberdeen Township regular meeting for April 15th. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cannon. Councilman Hirsch.
Present.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Here.
Councilwoman Montom.
Here. Here.
Councilman Swindell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Here.
Mayor Tagliarini.
Yeah, thank you very much. At this point in time, I'd like to do a moment of silence. And I think we'll start with all the lives, friends, family members, acquaintances that we have lost since during 2020 and the beginning of this year to COVID. As we should keep them in our prayers. We always remember the men and women of our armed forces who protect us here on this soil and on foreign soils to let us meet in meetings like this to protect our freedoms. We also never forget to thank the doctors and the nurses and the researchers who have brought this vaccine to us. They've worked very hard to get it to us very quickly. And of course, our first responders here in town, our police, fire, CERT, EMS, first aid. We thank them very much for working 24/7 to keep us very, very safe. So my thanks to all of them. And now I'd like to give you a moment for your own personal intentions. Thank you. At this point, I would like to do the salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. We'll do meetings now, reports. And the only thing I'd like to say, which has given us an incredible feel-good moment in time, is that a few weeks ago, I made a reverse 911 asking our residents, especially in the age of 65 and older, if they had problems finding a vaccine. I think the response was over 400, Mr. Russell.
I believe so, Mayor.
Yeah. And to this date, that list, through the cooperation of our state senator and assembly here and the county of Monmouth, we have almost exhausted that list by getting folks appointments. Especially I have to thank Councilman Montone and Deputy Mayor Martucci for helping me make those hundreds of calls. But I said it last time and I'll say it again until we vaccinated everyone. If you really want a feel-good moment in your life, you call these people and you give them an appointment for a vaccine. And I just, as I told Mr. Russell a little while ago, I just wrote to the County Board of Health official, Mr. Merkel, thanking him and sharing with him some of the response from our senior citizens who were so thankful and full of joy to receive this vaccine. So publicly, I will thank our state officials and our county officials for getting us those vaccines, and of course, the help from everybody at Town Hall also who participated in getting these vaccines out. With that, I'll turn to the rest of my council. If anybody has a report they'd like to give, if any.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to make notice that Councilman Cannon has been able to get on for Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, Councilman. Anybody else have any reports from the council at this point in time? If not, I will turn it over to Mr. Russell if he has another comment or two, and then to our police chief for any updates that he might have.
I'm actually good, Mayor. I think So I'll turn it over to the chief.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, our total for our COVID at this point from back in 4/7 is 1829. We currently have 201 active cases, 75 new cases again since 4/7, and that's got a 20+ error margin.
Okay,
Thank you, chief.
thank you, Chief, and please extend our best to your executive staff and all the police officers for doing a great job during this whole COVID situation.
You're welcome.
Very good. At this point, will that be it for reports then, Brian? You're okay? The chief's
Yes,
been done?
it looks like I'm okay. I'm looking at my charts. I
Okay.
think I'm okay.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Police Chief, Chief Guyer. Have there been any problems at all with any of our constituents as far as the situations that's going on in the other states?
Not that I'm aware of. I attended a Bayshore meeting today, and that had like 10 chiefs there, and nobody was reporting anything. So far, so good. You know what they say, no news is good news.
Yeah, that's very good to hear. Thank you.
Good to hear. Thank you, Chief. With that, I will open it up to the next agenda item, which is the hearing of the citizens. And this will be on agenda items only. Brian, if you think you might be seeing someone new in our audience tonight, maybe you should tell them how they can either raise their hand or raise a thumb, put the hand signal up, how they can get to ask a question.
Sure, Mayor. If anyone needs to make a comment, if you just go down to the your bar and there's a reactions button to either raise the hand or there's a high five or a wave, we can or thumbs up. You can just click that and I will acknowledge you and let you ask your comments. Again, this is for the agenda items. Barry, did you want to? I saw you put thumbs up and back down. Do you have anything? And I think we're okay, Mayor, for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda,
Sorry, hold on, Mayor. Mr. Perry just has his hand.
yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Mayor Taglerini, members of the council, Tom Perry, Cashel Speedway. Quick question on resolution number 1. With respect to the legacy cases that will be inheriting from Matawan, does Aberdeen get penalized, quote unquote, in any manner for these older cases that are on the docket that are unresolved? I know the courts are always interested in clearing their docket.
I don't think let me put it this way, from what I've been explained by the division manager, no. And it would actually be, it would still be under it's still under the Matawan court code and Matawan court. Again, it's our Aberdeen staff that are doing the, the processing for them. But if they're, like I said, when I met with everybody, no one told me anything about any, sorry, I'm can't get the right word.
Let me help you out on this one, Brian.
Yeah, I'm tongue-tied here. I'm sorry. Go
Brian,
ahead, Lee.
These cases are essentially the ones in which the defendant doesn't show up and a bench warrant is issued, and nobody finds the person, or they move out of the jurisdiction. They're often traffic citations. So no police agency is expending a large portion of its energy looking for them. And so they're not considered unresolved cases by the courts. It's unresolved cases by law enforcement or unresolved for lack of prosecution, but not as a result of the court being backed up or the court not having a sufficient schedule or not moving its caseload.
Okay, thank you.
Especially where, as here, they're on their second shared services agreement. So they're like, and forgive me if anybody's a redhead, but the old saying is they're like the redheaded stepchild of the court system.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you both.
thank you.
I see no one else at this time, Mayor.
Okay, well then we'll forge ahead and ask Councilman Hirsch to make a motion for agenda item number 6, please.
Thank you to our distinguished mayor and the honorable deputy mayor Martucci. I would like to, and fellow council members, I would like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of the reorg meeting dated January 6th, 2021.
Second,
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Monton,
Yes.
Councilman Swindell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
yes,
Mayor Taglerini.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll go on to 7A. And I would say the next 2 or 3 are extremely important. This will help us forge ahead with our capital program for the year. So Deputy Mayor, would you do the honors of presenting 7A, please?
yes. Mr. Mayor and my fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to accept bond ordinance number 3-2021 for introduction.
Second.
Second. Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Aberdeen in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, appropriating $4,674,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,923,500 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Bond ordinance will be advertised in the April 22nd issue of the Asbury Park Press, with the public hearing scheduled for May 6th. Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Councilwoman Monton,
Yes.
Councilman Swindell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
Yes,
Mayor Taglerini.
Yes, thank you very much. Councilwoman Monton, would you please do agenda item 7B, please?
Yes. Mayor Taglerini, Deputy Mayor Martucci, and my fellow council members, I would like to make a motion to introduce bond ordinance number 4-2021 on first reading by title and to order the same to be published by summary in the April 22nd, 2021 issue of the Asbury Park Press, together with notice of its introduction and passage on first reading by title, and that it will be further considered for final passage after public hearing at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on May 6, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. through Zoom broadcasting.
Second.
Bond ordinance providing for various sewer improvements in and by the Township of Aberdeen in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, appropriating $417,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $185,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly. Councilwoman Kelly, you're muted.
Yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Monton.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Council-
Yes.
Yes. Councilman Swindell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
yes,
Mayor Taglerini.
Yes, thank you very much. We're up to 7C, and with Councilman Swindell, please make a motion for that, please.
Yes. To the mayor, the deputy mayor, my fellow council members, I would like to make a motion to introduce bond ordinance number 5, 2021 on first reading by title and to order the same to be published by summary the April 22nd, 2021 issue of the Asbury Park Press, together with notice of its introduction and passage on first reading by title, and that it will be further considered for final passage after public hearing at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on May 6, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. through Zoom broadcasting.
Second,
Second.
Second,
Councilman
Second.
Cannon,
Yes.
Second.
Councilman Hirsch,
yes.
Councilwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montone,
yes,
Councilman Swindell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
Yes.
Mayor Taglerini.
Yes, thank you very much. And Councilman Cannon, would you please make the motion for 7D, please?
Yes, Mayor, fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a consent agenda, which consists of resolutions 2021-64 through 2021-71 and raffle license RA 1220.
Second.
Councilman Cannon,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montone,
yes,
Councilman Swindell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
Yes.
Mayor Taglerini.
Yes, thank you very much. This brings us up to agenda item number 8, which is the hearing of the citizens' correspondence, petitions, new business. Would anybody like to be recognized and ask anything they might have in their mind, please?
Yes, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Russell, Mayor Taglerini, members of the council. I'm still Tom Perry. I still reside on the Speedway. First of all, thanks for the continuing attachment of documents referenced in resolutions and ordinances that the council undertake for action at their various meetings. As a member of the public, I truly appreciate that. Moving on, I have a question concerning the chain link fence that borders along South Atlantic. It begins on the entrance to Berkstein Drive and continues to what was the vacated Chase Bank. And just want to know who owns that fence?
I would have to find out, Mr. Perry. I am not quite sure.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I recall when I sat on the zoning board, there's always an issue of the residents that live behind that fence. They have to come before the zoning board seeking a variance because technically they had 2 front yards, one facing South Atlantic, the other facing Berkstein Drive. I think ultimately that was resolved, so they no longer had to come before the zoning board and pay the fee to seek an application and erect a fence. But the fact remains that this chain link fence still exists. There's from all the properties that border that fence along South Atlantic, there are fences erected. It's been there for quite some time. I just point to the council's considerations that it's unsightly, and whoever maintains it, maybe there's a consideration to its outlawing its purpose. Perhaps when it was first, I can't imagine that it was there when the houses were first built, but sometimes subsequently to that, I think it's outlived its purpose, and maybe we should take it down because it's unsightly to Aberdeen. Moving on, there's a house on Aberdeen that I don't recall the address right now, but it seems it's been abandoned long ago. There's a car in the driveway that's been, obviously it's been abandoned. The license plates are clearly out of registration. I wonder if Aberdeen is aware of this house at all.
Mr. Russell, I'll be happy to take
I was
that.
gonna say, I have no problem. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yes, we are very much aware, Mr. Perry. It's been an issue that we've been dealing with for many years, for at least the period of time that I have been sitting on the council. There are numerous situations that I am not able to disclose because there is open legal work being done on it. I do know that there's been some delays in resolutions because of the non-eviction executive orders due to COVID, which has kind of put a damper on all municipalities throughout the state in rectifying certain issues. But to answer your question, sir, absolutely aware, in the Township Council, as well as the manager and our attorneys, have been actively working on a resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. With respect to the legal issues, and I don't know whether you can speak to this or maybe Aberdeen's council can speak to this. Is it an actual lawsuit been filed and pending concerning this property?
I would tend to leave that up to either council or our town manager to answer.
Mr. Cohen, do you want to, what can we say?
Give me the address again. if you would.
It's.
Is there
Aberdeen.
an actual lawsuit filed with respect to the Avondale property that issue?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. We've also discussed the property on Cliffwood Avenue, and it was the answer was basically referred to as in legal issues. So the same question, has there been an actual lawsuit filed with respect to that Cliffwood property?
Cliffwood Avenue 444, Lee. I think we can.
That has been happily resolved by a settlement agreement among the parties without the need for litigation. And it helped minimize the costs involved, and that property will be cleared and restored shortly now, right, Mr. Russell?
Correct, yes. It will be gone. It will be leveled and graded and nothing there.
Thank you. And finally, does Aberdeen know the members that are on the Water Advisory Board?
Which advisory board? I'm sorry, Mr. Perry.
No worries. The Water Advisory Board, and water is, again, is my Midwestern accent, although I've lived in New Jersey probably longer than I lived in Ohio.
Okay.
Never lose that flat A, huh?
No. And I always continue to refer to a soda as pop.
And cold cuts as lunch meat?
There you go.
Is it a
So-
homie or a sub?
I don't have those reports with me. Like I said, we have been going through them. I'll have to check in the morning and see what I have on that list for membership, if there is.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Russell. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Have a good evening.
You too, Mr. Perry. Thank you. Brian, do we have any other hands or thumbs up or people waving at you?
Give me a second. No, Mayor, I see no one else at this time.
Mr. Russell?
Yes, sir.
Actually, there's one other thing I would like to just remind our residents of, or two
Sure.
things that are happening here in town tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Two very important issues. We are having our shredding event sponsored by the Monmouth County Recycling in Town Hall parking lot from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or until the truck is full.
On Saturday.
So those that need to have bulk shredding done, it's a great system and it moves smoothly, and I highly recommend it for those that need it. Also tomorrow, beginning at 19.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday, I'm sorry.
Both events are Saturday.
Also on Saturday, beginning at 9 a.m. down at Cliffwood Beach by the Fisherman's Beach and parking lot, there is our semi-annual beach sweep that is being held. For all of those that are interested, we would love to have people come out and help clean the beach, pick up debris, pick up recycling, and help Aberdeen Township, Monmouth County, and the state of New Jersey determine where a lot of this debris is coming from during the collection process, and try to stop some of the pollution in our waterways.
Thank you, Councilman, for reminding all of us of a very busy Saturday coming up for us. So very well said, and thank you for doing that. If I don't see my manager saying anybody else is, nope,
No,
okay.
they're all clear.
Well, good. Well, then we'll ask our attorney to bring us into an executive session motion.
Do you have it in front of you? Or you need me to read it? I've lost him there. Mayor, if you're,
We lost audio.
I can read it.
Okay, very good.
Yep, whereas the Township Council are mindful of the right of the public to attend and to witness meetings of government bodies at which public business is discussed and to be involved in all phases of government action. And whereas the Open Public Meetings Act nonetheless requires the authority of a public body to exclude the public from meetings in certain enumerated instances in which disclosure of matters discussed could endanger public safety, property, and other public interests or invade individual privacy. And whereas, as authorized by the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B, the Township Council have a need to meet in private session to discuss litigation, JH Construction and Stop and Shop, contractual Willow Avenue property, Keyport Marine Basin, potential litigation, health, beach drive, and personnel matters. Be it resolved that the Township Council will meet in private session at 8:08 p.m. on April 15, 2021, as to discuss the following specific items, which I've stated. Be it further resolved that the matter so discussed will be disclosed to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Second.
All right, with that, I'll ask Councilwoman Montone for a motion to leave the regular meeting to go into executive.
Mayor Taglerini, Deputy Mayor Martucci, and fellow council members, I'd like to make a motion to leave the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Terrific. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Continue the comfort of your homes or wherever you are. We will see you in 2 weeks, but don't wait till then if you need us. You certainly have the ability to call us all at any time, whatever your wants or needs are. So thank you all very much. Have a pleasant evening and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.